Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reed Option, and welcome to this Saturday's NAGA lineup. We are starting off with the Milwaukee Bees going into Delaware to take on the Pioneers. Looks like Delaware is not favored at home. Let's go ahead and jump right into this thing. Late into the season here, it's week 8, and the Northeast Division Delaware Pioneers are 3-4, while the Midwest Division Milwaukee Bees are 4-3. Both fighting for playoff contention. If Delaware loses this week, they have no chance of winning the Northeast Division. If Columbus wins and Milwaukee loses this game, they have no chance of taking the Midwest Division. But both teams have a chance at playoffs regardless. I believe Devin Brooks is going to take the opening kickoff. Both of these teams actually just got done. Well, Milwaukee won last week. Milwaukee lost last week, as did Delaware. Both teams lost last week, so they're both coming off of losses, hoping to get a win here today. The Bees now under new ownership. I know I was talking about people coming in and taking over ownership of the Bees, and it happened following that incompletion by the quarterback Abatangelo, who has the highest amount of touchdowns this season despite not playing the first week of the season. So following last week, they got a new owner named Jared. I got a privilege of interviewing Jared, asking him what has he assessed thus far from the Bees team. He said, "This is a team with great potential. I've seen the history. They made it to the championship in Season 1 and struggled in Season 2. We're in the mix now, and I intend to keep mixing." Great response from Jared. I also got the opportunity to interview Skulls, the long-tenured Delaware Pioneers GM, and he got to say, in preparation for this game, coming off of a 2-game losing streak in the division on the line, what kind of adjustments has he made coming into this game? The kind of adjustments that would make the Milwaukee Bees go 3-and-out on their opening drive. Punt by Neubert, and then I'll get that response from Skulls. Fielded by Howard, and he'll be taken down at the 34. But his response was, maybe I might switch my offensive and defensive schemes if they aren't working out well for us, which, spoiler alert, the Milwaukee Bees actually changed theirs before this game. He said, we're going to see what the guys are able to do in a different setup. So, different strategies coming from both of these head coaches heading into this game. Daniel Shaver under center, handing off to Xavier Sheffield for this number 5 best rushing offense. You're going up against a lower percentile rushing defense, 5th best passing defense. So keep feeding your running back duo, and trust Shaver to make the easy plays at quarterback. And I think you might see success. Milwaukee has struggled with the offense outside of Abatangelo's success. I mean, if we're looking at his stat line, 15 touchdowns, 64.5% completion percentage, which I believe that is in the top 5 of all quarterbacks. Only 4 interceptions to show for it. This kid's doing great. It's just they've been struggling a little bit. Maybe it's the rough schedule. Maybe it's the fact that plays like that just don't go in their direction. It's a game of inches. Thaddeus Mitchell, the former Austin Star, getting that first down there. And Delaware's getting a new set of downs. Milwaukee, going to the championship, as previously mentioned, in their first season, and then falling off last season. I think it was a lot of quarterback issues and maybe a little bit of defense mixed in there. But they made a good many moves in the offseason to make sure they have a solid offense. The Graham, Spellman, Mason trio in the backfield. Devin Brooks, Christian Levine, Jamal Chapman, Amir Fulton. I mean, they have a solid offense. It's just a shame that they're facing a lot of feisty teams this season, but the defense has been able to make at least stops on 1st and 2nd down. I think it's these 3rd downs that they more so struggle with. And here is the Pioneers in I formation. Shaver with the pitch to Sheffield, breaking the first tackle, getting stopped for a loss of 2 yards. And there he is. That is big stud on the defense. That's Justin Lamar. He is their punt returner. He is their free safety. He is a great run stopper. I believe he was a rookie in this past draft. Let me double check. Yes, he was round 3, pick 57. So he's been a great addition to this defense. One of the ones that's trying to, you know, make a big enough difference to send this team into the playoffs. Abatangelo now after that touchback, courtesy of Jacob Bachkowski. Hand off to Tony Graham to the right side. Graham only gaining 5 yards on the play. Getting stopped by Sean Haynes, the veteran linebacker out of Chattanooga. Graham, the go-to guy so far this game. Another handoff to Graham up to the left this time, weaving in and out of traffic, extending, getting the first down there as Spellman gets subbed into the game. Not a lot of reliance on Abatangelo as of yet. He was one of the only quarterbacks heading into last week who had not had a game under 200 yards. Those people being Jake Britton and Tommy Tedesco, never having a game under 200 yards this season. Last week, Abatangelo coming up 4 yards shy at 196 yards. So, trying to keep up a hot streak, or maybe they don't care anymore, really handing it off to the running backs almost every play. Abatangelo dropping back this time, looking to his left. Caught, little toe tapper. Schlesinger getting stopped before he can make any real difference by Ahmad Watts, I believe. That was an interesting stop there. Either that or that was Reggie Suggs. It would make more sense if it was Suggs. Watts is 5th in the depth chart, but it might have been Watts. Great throw to Graham. Now that was a stop by Suggs. Little shoelace tackle there, but the chain gang is trotting down the field regardless. And the Bees with excellent field position just outside of midfield. Abatangelo dropping back before he can heave it. Gets sacked by Charles Lyons. Another veteran of this Delaware defense. This Delaware defense is full of 30-year-old veterans. You know, Raymond Doran. You have Sean Haynes, Sean Pearsall, Charles Lyons. I'm looking at the offense now. Their offensive line is full of veterans. Probably going to try to get some youth in this upcoming draft. Their practice squad is a lot of veterans as well. Actually, no, there's a lot of youth on their practice squad, so maybe they're just being understudies for these tenured guys trying to make a push for the playoffs in a really rough division. Abatangelo dropping back, looking down the center. Incomplete. Just led his man a little too far. And that'll bring us 4th down. Looked like that was intended for Chapman, if I'm not mistaken. But it might have been the tight end, Wilkins. Schlesinger being the backup tight end, second stringer. But they do run 2 tight end sets. What a punt! I had no clue that was going to be stopped. Don't know who made that. One of their gunners was able to down that the inch line, and Milwaukee might put up 2 as their first set of points. Shaver down the middle to Tomapeyo. First down, Delaware. Taumoi-Piao. I'm looking now at my pronunciation sheet. Sheffield getting 15 yards while I'm rambling. Taumoi-Piao is apparently the pronunciation I'm supposed to be using. I've been notorious for mispronouncing names, and that is another mistake. Putting another $1 in the mispronunciation jar. Shaver dropping back to pass on first down. A little dump off to Daquan Miller, the WVU graduate, Germantown, Maryland native. And Justin Lamar will come back in for the defensive rotation as Cummings was in on that play. James Cummings. Shaver 2 for 2, 23 yards. A lot of handoffs for this team as well. And another one up the middle for Sheffield. Sheffield barreling forward for a 13-yard gain. And he will be stopped by... No, not. No. You know what? I'll come back to that. It was looking like Derek Beasley, but I'm not sure. Never mind, Derek Beasley is a Delaware Pioneer. That was Kason Campbell for the defense. Thaddeus Mitchell getting stopped in the backfield by Kyle Kiefer. I commentated the Milwaukee-Iowa game last week. A lot of mention of Kyle Kiefer in that game. Go back and watch that one if you haven't already. Check out all the games on this channel. The Season 3 playlists have now been added to our homepage. So easily accessible. Watching every season in the past to watch the history and the evolution of this league. Seeing how the uniforms get a little bit smoother. The rivalries get more intense. The commentary gets a little better. Courtesy of Pasta, the commissioner, myself, Reed Option, and Cole, our third commentator. So there's 3 of us right now. If you want to join the commentary team, or if you want to be involved in this league in general, please feel free to join the Discord. Say you'd like to be involved, even if you don't want to own a team. You can make a prospect. You can own a team. You can just be involved in the server and see how all the transactions go down if you're just that big of a fan. But if you have anything to contribute to the NAGA, please let us know. We are one of the only simulation leagues for Axis Football 24. Great game. Please purchase it. We love rivaling football games because we don't like monopolies here at the NAGA. Milwaukee getting the ball back after that punt from midfield. Abitangelo, a little pitch off to Graham down the middle. A lot of comeback routes there. 2nd and 8 as the first quarter is coming to a close. 0-0 still. Let's see if Abitangelo can pull off some kind of major play before the end of the first. Down the middle of the field. Almost picked off under pressure there. And the clock will stop at 17 seconds. The injuries for Milwaukee today are both defensive. Emmanuel Howlett and Derek Hill are still injured on the defensive side. And on the offensive side, they have nobody. The Delaware Pioneers, their tight end, Jacob Lopnow, has been out for quite some time. He is still hurt. And right tackle Patrick Anderson is injured. So 2 offensive injuries for the Pioneers, 2 defensive for Milwaukee. And they're about to flip back to those sides of the field as the first quarter is over. Still tied up 0-0. Here we have a punt by Rich Neubert. Looks like it's sailing all the way to the 31. He muffs it. Howard scoops it back up just before getting tackled at the 29. Upon asking owner Skulls about Xavier Sheffield and Thaddeus Mitchell putting up, great season numbers, having the 5th best offense, if he was going to switch up his strategy from it at all, he said, with those 2 putting up the numbers that they are, I'll continue to give them both opportunities to give it all they got. If they both get tired and their numbers begin to fall, I'll give Daniel, referring to the quarterback, some more reps in the passing game, but we'll also try to get him more involved in, let's see. Oh, try to get Xavier and Thaddeus maybe more involved in the passing, it seems. But it looks like they won't need to do that. Sheffield and Mitchell just cutting through the defense like butter. An analogy I love to use. On the flip side, my interview with Jared, the new owner of the Bees, asking him about last week's loss. What adjustments need to be made in order to prevent losses in important games He said, clean house here, starting fresh for the home stretch. Just taking it one game at a time. So I imagine he is watching this game right now, and he'll be watching very closely going into the future of this season and of this league, trying to turn this team into the championship-bound team that it was in Season 1. Incomplete pass by Daniel Shaver, just chucking it downfield, trying to look for an easy touchdown. The touchdowns never come easy here in the NAGA. Pistol formation on 3rd down at midfield. Sheffield running up the left side, getting stopped before he can truly break free. Tackled by Jack Morgan. Chris Adanasio getting subbed in, but I imagine the Pioneers are going to punt here. Yep, punt, 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 punt. No turnovers, nothing like that. No touchdowns, no field goals. And that is another touchback from the Pioneers. I don't think we've had a punt inside the 20. Just touchbacks from Bachkowski as opposed to Neubert. Handoff up the middle to Tony Graham. 5 yards gained on that play. Final 2 weeks of the season, Milwaukee and Delaware get to face 2 divisional opponents each. It's truly do or die. Milwaukee gets to face Omaha in Omaha. And then the final week of the season, they get to go to Columbus to take on the Senators. And with plays like that, Graham chipping away at the yardage, getting first downs, they might be looking good going into those 2 games. Delaware faces Virginia Beach. The Mariners just coming off of a win yesterday. And then they get to go into Richmond. So 2 away games for both of these teams to finish off the season. Spellman this time taking the ball, only gaining 1 yard on the play. Stopped by Sean Haynes. Hand off to Spellman up the right side. And only a gain of 3 there. Looks like Deshaun Mason might be making his way into the rotation here. Graham behind Abatangelo in single back. The man in motion is Brooks. It'll be another toss out to the right side. He has plenty of blockers. He breaks a tackle and gets the first down. Gain of 11 on the play, and Deshaun Mason will take his first snap. Mason was an undrafted free agent out of Georgia Southern. I might have mentioned that in a previous game this season, and hasn't had a lot of time to shine. Picked off! Abatangelo was picked off by Haynes. And this could be the momentum that Delaware was hoping for, the momentum shift. Abatangelo's only thrown 4 interceptions this season as opposed to his 15 touchdowns. Contrast that with Shaver throwing 9 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, almost a 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. And right now, as it stands, even though it's only halfway through the second quarter, tied up 0-0, Shaver is looking more clean with his passes. 2nd and 6. Handoff had a shotgun up the middle to Shaver, but he will be stopped abruptly. I believe that was Kiefer on the play. Yes, it was Kyle Kiefer. Sheffield with 6 yards per carry. Impressive. And he's going to add to it. Sheffield, 10 yards on that carry. Looking at 7 yards per carry as Kiefer comes back in and Mitchell gets subbed in to relieve Sheffield. Looking like both of these teams are trying to use the strategy of the power backs. You know, utilize your backs. If you got a good offensive line, at least good at run blocking, creating those lanes and opportunities for your running backs. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb 2020, I believe it was, 2021. That duo. Another handoff to Sheffield on the left side. This time it was predicted. That was another stop by Kyle Kiefer. 3rd and 8 from the 34. Field goal from here would be about 52 yards. So, got to give your kicker a little bit better field position. And Mitchell will do just that, gaining 4 yards. Nice 48-yard field goal set up for Sean Clay. Mitchell only half yard per carry. Clay with the attempt. Straight through the uprights. 47-yarder is good. First points on the board for the whole game. Half is almost over. 3-0 Delaware. Kickoff by Clay will be brought out of the end zone by Devin Brooks. And he'll get stopped before he can make it past the 25. Stopped at the 23. Stopped by Michael Bollinger. Nice pitch to Graham. Far out to the right side. He'll gain 8 on the carry. Stopped by Myron Jackson. Another handoff to Graham, this time to the left side with a convoy of blockers. 4-yard gain there. Just outside of the 2-minute warning, let's see what the Bees, as they continue their drive, have in store. 12 times touching the ball, 72 yards for Tony Graham. Spellman now in the backfield, and he'll get the ball. Stopped after a gain of 1. Graham back in the game. 2 tight ends set. Abitangelo dropping back. Plenty of guys open. Levine ended up being the target there on a little slot route. Gain of 3. Delaware calling their first timeout. First of 3. 2 seconds before the 2-minute warning here on 3rd down. No doubt the Bees are really going to try to push for this first down. I expect a pass play. And it will be a run play with a slew of blockers in front of him. Graham gaining the first down, going just past midfield. Tackle by Sean Haynes as Kimbrough gets subbed into the lineup. Nice little defensive rotation here in this game. Abitangelo with a 5 wide receiver set with him. Chucks it downfield, intended for, looking like Jamal Chapman once again. Under 50%, under 30 yards with an interception. The Bees need to shape up here on the passing game, and they do. Brooks with a huge reception, gain of 32 yards. Nobody calling any timeouts. And the Bees will take their time. Abitangelo dropping back, looking for the end zone into triple coverage. Looked like that was intended for Christian Levine, if I'm not mistaken. Hard to read the numbers on these jerseys. I love the design. Nice little callback to some famous Bumblebee jerseys. Houghton on the right, Graham blocking on the left. For the end zone is Levine. This time it's good. Touchdown. First touchdown of the game, Christian Levine. And that will put the Bees in the lead by 4, given the kick by Pittenger is made. And it is. And that will be Levine's 5th touchdown of the season. Great drive by the Milwaukee Bees, not leaving a lot of time left for the Pioneers. A minute 22 with 2 timeouts left. Especially for a run-heavy team. Tremaine Carter taking the kickoff. Stopped at the 27. Shaver dropping back with a 5 wide receiver set, looking way downfield. Daquan Miller hauling in a 26-yard reception. And we are just past midfield now for the Pioneers. No timeouts called. Essentially a 5 wide receiver set. This time, Rawson, or is that Rason? Whichever. It was intended for him. And it'll be pass interference on Kiefer. Couldn't keep his hands off of him. First down. We're going to go with Rawson. Kyle Rawson. Not in the lineup right now this time. Replace the tight end with a running back. Shaver downfield for a Daniel Howard. First down once again for the Pioneers. And everyone's on the edge of their seats. The crowd's going crazy. Shaver looking for the end zone. Picked! Campbell! And it'll be a touchback. What a play! Kason Campbell. The Alabama graduate. And permanent Milwaukee Bee in this league. Coming up with a huge play there. Abatangelo getting the first down to Brooks. Looks like they'll try to get another score before the half. No timeout called, surprising, and they're not in hurry-up offense. What is happening here in Delaware? 5 wide receiver set. Time is expiring. What are you doing? 3 seconds. Leaving nothing to chance is Chapman. 17-yard gain, but it will not matter. Just a little stat pad there. Dak Prescott style. And the Pioneers will get the ball back here at the half. In my interview, and this was not a premonition, I asked Jared, the owner of the Bees, when your team is winning at halftime, what do you tell your guys? And he said, leading at halftime is like winning prom king. Nobody cares in the end. Gotta win the whole football game. And I love the analogy. I'm a man who loves analogies. I make a lot of them in these games. We'll have to get a read option compilation of analogies at the end of the season. But good analogy there for Jared. Shaver with a wide open. Let me say his name this time. Got to refer to the sheet. Taumoi Piau. Tavita Taumoi Piau with another great reception. 9 yards this time instead of, 15. But still great catch. Sheffield spinning out of the tackle. Had to be hip drop tackled by... who was that? Had to be hip drop tackled by number 93. That is Jermaine Geary. Handoff out of shotgun. Little sweep to the left for Sheffield. Now with both quarterbacks having interceptions, only one of them has a touchdown, and that is yours truly, Joseph Abatangelo. Shaver handing it off to Mitchell in a similar fashion that he just did Sheffield the previous play. Adanasio with the stop. Mitchell not doing good in the run game today. This is very uncharacteristic of Mitchell. Hand off to the right, and once again read by a book, and that does not do his numbers well. Great stop by Corey Andrew. And the punting unit will come out for the Pioneers. Disappointing performance for a team who has put up an average of 60 more yards per game than their opponent. Talking about the Pioneers, both teams have let up roughly the same amount of yards, averaging about 370 yards let up per game. I mean, it's impressive on the Bees' part, I'll say that. Then again, like I said, they have faced some pretty tough opponents. Graham breaking a tackle in the backfield, extending for 5 yards. Nice counter play there. Hand off to Graham, this time breaking another tackle in the backfield, but he can't break the second one. Corey Roberts stopping him for -4 yards. 3rd and 8 here. Abatangelo dropping back on 3rd down, looking to his right. In and out of the hands of the receiver. Jamal Chapman not being super reliable here on big catches. Got to rely on touchdown leader Devin Brooks. I mean, he's got 7 touchdowns on the season. Great hands. Only 2 drops on the season. We're looking at drops. Some of the most drops in the league is Tremaine Carter. He's about to be taking the field from the 31 with his offense. Not good when your receiver can't haul it in when it goes straight into his hands. I mean, great defense is one thing, but you've got to make plays when the ball comes to you. Shaver, pocket collapsed on him, and Lockett got to him first. Nice sack there. That was Marshall Lockett's 9th sack of the year. Little false start by John Dreesen, backing them up even further into their own territory. Now at the 20-yard line. A lot of hidden yardage at play here, as Cole would say. Hand off, Sheffield up the left side, not going to do him much. Kiefer on the stop. 3rd and 18. How close to Lockett, or how close to the sack leader is Lockett now? With 9 sacks, that puts him 1 shy of the sack leader. Let's see if Lockett can get another sack here today. He won't, because it's a handoff. Sheffield getting them a little bit further out of their own territory. Mitchell will come in, but it'll just be to help protect the punter, as the Delaware punting unit and Jacob Bechkowski will return to the field. Justin Lamar taking it from out the 22, breaks the first tackle, heads up the sideline. He's on the edge, not being tackled until he's already in enemy territory at the 39. What a punt return from Justin Lamar. Just in my personal opinion, Lamar should be in the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation for the Pacific Conference. It is honestly not even close. Abatangelo looking to a wide open Brooks. If he would have dropped that, you would have known the whole stadium would have been like cheering. If it was home stadium, a little bit different story. Probably would have gotten some beer cans thrown at him. Abatangelo in pistol formation. I expect a handoff here. 2nd and inches. motioning his wide receiver to the right. Graham, of course, taking the ball and getting a first down, gain of 2. That was Levine who was in motion. I guess he trusted him to be the blocker there. Play action, and he will pay for it. Losing 6 yards, sacked by Malik Moore. Not sure how many sacks that puts Moore at. I believe that's, 3 sacks for Moore on the season. Graham gaining back the 6 yards lost. 3rd and 10 now. I think you're guaranteed a field goal here. Put you up by 1 whole score, which is a lot better a position to be in, especially here in the second half of the game. In my interview with Skulls, I asked him, as a tenured owner of the NAGA, what are his hardest challenges that he has to overcome as a coach. He said responding to trade offers and other notices are a little difficult, hard to keep up with, but he says it's trades where he has to give up players that have been performing well for players that are entirely new to his system. He likes sticking with his guys. He likes loyalty. And he says that if he ends up losing with a losing record this year, he may abandon that. Start a rebuild over the next few seasons. So he prioritizes loyalty, but at the end of the day, no matter how loyal you are, if your team just ain't cutting it with your chemistry, somebody's got to go. Following that 3-pointer by Pittenger, the Delaware Pioneers are taking it from their own 24 late in the 3rd quarter. Seen a lot of run plays from both sides. Shaver showing us why he shouldn't be necessarily trusted with the pass. Here he goes, little screen pass to Sheffield. Getting those two involved, Sheffield and Mitchell involved in the passing game. You love to see it. Those are your playmakers. However, the Pioneers do have a pretty stacked wide receiver core. Tremaine Carter, Daquan Miller, Adoniel Howard, Trayvon Ledbetter, even Caden Dickerson and Ronaldo Thames are pretty good receivers. Great part of this core. All decently young outside of Daquan Miller, 29-year-old, basically a grandpa in the wide receiver community. It's like Julio Jones playing out here. They will entrust another oldie in Thaddeus Mitchell to try to get the first down, and he will fail as Geary's there to stop him for a loss of yards. And the Bees will force a 3-and-out. And Bachkowski, all too familiar with the field today, will punt it off to Justin Lamar. No tackle break for him this time. And Tremaine Carter made sure of it. Anytime I'm silent, I'm drinking from a Smart Water Alkaline 9.5 pH bottle. Not an official sponsor. Looks like there's an insurance sponsor today for the game on the billboards. But I do recommend this water. It's a pretty gosh darn good. It's got antioxidants. Gonna help protect you in this very snowy, cold time of the year. Get all that good stuff in your body. Surprised it's not snowed here today. And that first down from the Bees will get called back due to a holding penalty. 1st and 20 now. Abatangelo, the little pass to Wilkins, his first catch of the day. Troy Wilkins, tight end out of NC State. 2nd and 18 now. Yeah, I'm sure all of you guys have been getting snow. If not, your pipes have frozen over from the negative temps. What is an El Nino? Somebody tell me in the comments. I am freezing my butt off even here on the, middle, if we're talking about north-south, I'm probably in the middle of the country. I think I've mentioned before I'm in the Pennsylvania area, and it is freezing cold here. Feel like it's Montana. Hand off on 3rd down to Spellman, and he will push Forward only gaining 7, though. 4th and inches. You're up by a lot. Do you go for it outside of midfield? The tackle by Kimbrough will cause Neubert to come out, and the Bees will be punting it. See if he can Kaufman corner. He will not. Just going to punt it straight to him. And that'll be a touchback. Shotgun formation for the Pioneers. You don't see this a lot. Handoff out of shotgun, and there to stop him was, oh, apparently there was a face mask, non-contact face mask on the play. Sorry, Corey Andrew, your glory was short-lived as Delaware gets a free first down out of a defensive mistake. Those will kill you. I think I've mentioned more than anybody else that penalties are game makers and game breakers. End of the third quarter is upon us. 10-3 in this low-scoring defensive bout. Impressive work from the Milwaukee Bees defense. Looking great. Shaver, outside of that one interception, has been all but perfect. They've been feeding Xavier Sheffield a whole bunch. Not on this play, though. 2nd and 7. Yes, they will feed Xavier Sheffield. First down. Catch along the sideline. Gain of 13. What a great throw. Yeah, the Milwaukee Bees defense has been doing great. Let's see if they can hold off the Pioneers, preventing them from scoring a touchdown at least here. Preferably stopping them right here and now. Sheffield stopped in the backfield by Kiefer. Tackle for loss, Demon. On the defensive side. Wearing those yellow B uniforms. 10 tackles for Kiefer today. If you count tackles for loss, you might have a double-double. Morgan getting subbed in as Kiefer gets another tackle. Sheffield sub back in for Mitchell. Averaging 0.1 yards per carry, Thaddeus Mitchell. Goodness gracious. And it's plays like that that make that kind of stat happen. First tackle for loss today from Ricardo Johnson Jr., the UCF graduate. And although they made it pretty far, the 48 just won't cut it. Batchkowski with the punt. Just kicking it straight toward the no jingles or mascots banner. Another thing I legitimately want you guys to leave in the comments, you see all these ads here for Triton and Gridiron helmets. The Axis football game has official merch for their teams. People do sim leagues with the official teams, and whoa, what a catch by Levine. Great catch, 24-yard gain. Nice dot by Abatangelo. But sorry, back to what I was talking about. They have their own merch. Go buy their merch from Gridiron Helmets and Triton.com/Axis. But should we make our own merch? Go ahead and leave a comment saying whether we should or not. And please go check out the Triton and Gridiron Helmets merch for Axis football. I personally am an Indianapolis Gladiators fan, although the Baltimore Paladins, they look pretty good. I like their uniforms. I like the Maryland flag design. Just thinking about getting myself a quarter zip or something from them. Keep myself nice and warm during this time of year. Graham stiff-arming Amanda. Get out of the first tackle. Gaining 20 yards on the play. Got to be brought down by a defensive back. Forcing their way into field goal position. And all they got to do is hand it off a few times here and put themselves up by 2 scores. But Terrence Joseph, uh-oh. False start. Take a couple steps back. Try again. Tony Graham back in the game. He's chucking his water bottle to the side like, are you serious, guys? I just put us here, and now you want me to go back in and Regain the yards you lost. Abatangelo looking for Graham. Swatted down. Who was that? That was Marcus Tracy. Great defense by Marcus Tracy. Permanent Pioneer Marcus Tracy. Graham gaining back some yards, getting 2 yards on the play. Tackled before he can do anything major by number 57, it looked like. Raymond Duran. Fullback on his right, Abatangelo looking to throw for the first down, and he'll get it. Christian Levine, 28-yard gain, and that will put them inside the 10-yard line. New set of downs. Little over half of the fourth quarter to go, and the Bees are in an excellent position to score here. Hand off to Graham, running up the middle, seeing some trouble, gaining 2. Able to stop him. That was Charles Lyons on the stop. My final question with Skulls in our interview, I asked him about Milwaukee's new owner, Jared, and their potential new play calling, and asked him if it made him approach the game a little different this week. And his response was you would have to see how the team can handle the changes, and if it doesn't work out well this week, he'll switch up the play calling next week. But looks like Spellman, while I was talking about defensive adjustments, Robert Spellman got the touchdown, putting the Milwaukee Bees up 14 points, 17-3. And hate to break it to you, Skulls, you're going to have to make some adjustments on the defensive side, as the Pioneers will now likely be eliminated from contention to win the Northeast Division, as the Bees stay alive in their Midwest quest. On the opposing side of things, my final interview question with Jared, I asked him what kind of impact he intends on making as a NAGA owner, NAGA owner, and as the new leader of the Milwaukee Bees. He said, winning football games, go Swarm. Perfect ending to an interview. This guy is cold as ice. Stingers out for the Milwaukee Bees. And they are definitely poised to win this game right now. Hand off to Sheffield up the left side. Breaks a tackle, but he will get a first down regardless. Morgan coming in. Shaver dropping back, under 5 minutes left to go in the half, looking deep. Missed his man, looked like it went almost right through his hands, but I think the defender got a hand on it. That was intended for Adoniel Howard. Shaver with his third incompletion there, over 100 yards, not impressive, but nothing to turn your nose up at. Look at this. Hand off to Sheffield, weaving through. First down, making it look easy. And Mitchell, who probably now has negative yards per carry, will be subbed into the game. Sheffield having over 100 yards already on the game. So both Shaver and Sheffield have 100 yards today. Same can't be said about Mitchell. Shaver getting a few yards shaved off. Corey Andrew with the sack. I think that's his 5th sack of the year. His whole team working their way up the sack ladder, taking advantage of Delaware's offensive line not being prepared for this rush attack. Third down now for the Pioneers. Looking at this defensive line, You have Marshall Lockett, Corey Andrew, Ricardo Johnson Jr., and Jermaine Gary. And then you have the linebackers attacking with Josiah Purvis, Damian Mercer, Kyle Kiefer, and Jack Morgan. You know, and you've seen a lot of those names pop up. Probably haven't seen a lot of Ricardo Johnson Jr. Or Jermaine Gary. A lot of defensive end work, a lot of outside linebacker and outside defensive end work. You can see where their strengths are. 4th down conversion attempt for the Pioneers, and they will get it. Ledbetter hauling it in. Tackled after no gain by Kason Campbell. But Pioneers don't care. It's 1st down. Move the chains. Move the guys. Let's go no huddle. Pistol formation for the Pioneers. Shaver looking to his left side. Toe tapper for Adoniel Howard, and the clock will remain stagnant. 2nd and short. Shaver trying to really hone in his clutch gene. Tremaine Carter, another toe tap, this time on the right side. Howard, then Carter, both toe tapping. As long as Shaver gets the passes off quickly, doesn't have to rely on his offensive line too much. As I mentioned before in this game, their right tackle is injured, so really got to give Shaver some sympathy there. Still no timeout called. 2-minute warning rapidly approaching. If Delaware can get a touchdown here, then make a defensive stand, they can send this thing to overtime. A lot of ifs there. Shaver alone under center. Looking to the end zone. Caught by Howard. 1st down, but not touchdown. 1st and goal, and the 2-minute warning is here. And they will waste no time acting as though the timeout given to them for free is not necessary. Plenty of time. Strip sacks. Shaver hit, and Kiefer is celebrating. Thought he was down, thought the contact from Shaver meant he was down. I don't know who stripped it, but Kiefer comes out with it, and Delaware has to make 2 defensive stands. If they can even make 1. What a play yet again in the red zone from this Milwaukee defense. There you go, Jared. There you have the strength of the Milwaukee Bees. It's not the offensive points. It's not the, you know, incredibly talented Joseph Abatangelo and your running back trio. It is your defense. These studs. Go Swarm. Tony Graham gaining 10 on the play. Delaware has to burn their 2nd timeout. 3rd and quite short. Under 2 minutes. And I think I hear the bells are playing. The game is all but over here. Just need Graham to pound a few extra yards. Flag Terrence Joseph. What are you doing? He's getting too jumpy. That's the 2nd time we've seen Joseph jump. And they'll take 5 steps back. And now they got to probably pass. Although, you know, you might as well burn Delaware's final timeout. Just hand it off to Graham. Probably out to the left where all the blockers are. Yup. Read like a book, though. Haynes with the stop, but the final Delaware timeout has been reached, which means they have to get a touchdown, an extra point, an onside kick, another touchdown. Looking slimmer and slimmer for you Delaware hopefuls. Trying to keep things optimistic. Most of the crowd is still here at the stadium. Howard can't do much with it. 50-yard line is pretty great starting field position, though. The Pioneers needing to throw, not hand off. Sheffield looking like he's gearing up to take the handoff. Do not hand this ball off. All right, Shaver bombing it. Carter caught. Keep hurrying, keep hurrying. No celebrating, Shaver. Oh, gracious. All right, pistol formation. 1:15 to go. Shaver motioning men, reading the defense. Dropping back. Offensive line got broken through. Carter, touchdown! Tremaine Carter, only touchdown for the Delaware Pioneers. A minute 6 to go. A little dyslexic there for a millisecond. And Sean Clay sending this one through. We'll make this a one-score game. Whew. Now all they have is the onside kick. Will they get it? And the team lines up correctly. We've seen a lot of incorrect lineups on the onside kicks. It is looking like the Bees are ready and they will have it. That is game. It's a shame it had to come to that for the Delaware Pioneers here at home. With the next 2 weeks being away, losing their final home game. Abatangelo in victory formation. What a game we had today. And I imagine the second game's already on. Brooklyn, Iowa. Pasta commentating that one. Brooklyn also in Delaware's division. Northeast, Iowa, and Milwaukee's. So, a lot of stuff at stake in that game. Go check that out. If you don't mind, you know, leaving this game early, not looking at all the stats. Orlando going into St. Louis later today, and then Tucson finishing us out. The Vipers going into Salt Lake City to take on the Cougars. And then tomorrow, Oklahoma City takes on Memphis. Richmond takes on Columbus. Raleigh faces the Wichita Wranglers. And Sacramento finishes off the week 8 with Sacramento going off against Austin, into Austin. So great game there. Pretty evenly spread stat-wise, but those 2 turnovers to the 1 and those 3 sacks to the 2 made all the difference. Graham and Sheffield really carrying these teams. Mitchell with a pathetic stat line. Kiefer, 13 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. I say, oh man, who would be the player of the game? I'm going to have to give it to, hold on, we'll go around to him when we reach him. I think you all know who I'm going to say. You already know it's Justin Lamar. You already know. Who recovered? So Kiefer did a fumble recovery. Who forced the fumble? Lockett. Great strip by Lockett with 2 sacks. What a great defensive performance from this team. I can't say that enough. Great job going through the Delaware Pioneers. You know, Shaver did a great performance. So did Sheffield, but Mitchell really dropped the ball there. Wide receiver performance was great. No drops. Looking like a lot of targets. Just great defense. You know, they're going up against a great defense. And the Bees really showed out today. What an introduction from the new owner. Coming off of a loss, and now first week as an owner, you get a win. Nothing better than that. That's all for us today here in Delaware. Go check out the rest of the games today. My name is Reed Option. And here at the NAGA, we will see you next time.